Welcome to Ready, Set, Retire. I'm Jennifer, and if you're new to this channel, we try and tackle some of life's biggest obstacles when getting ready for retirement. Now, you might be wondering, why are we in a kitchen and why am I holding a potato? Well, if you have had the chance to see some of our past videos, we did just do one on preserving our family's treasured recipes so that we can hand them down to future generations. And it's kind of fun. Got me thinking. As some of you do know, I am a chef in my regular life. And I also write a food column for a local paper called the Air News. And it's titled The Hungry Farmer, where we try and take a look at some of the farming families in our community. And it got me thinking, we usually share a recipe from the farm families, but this year for 2020, we've decided to take it to our readers of the Air News and ask them what some of their favorite family recipes are and tie it into some local farm families as well in the area. Well, for this segment, our first one, I decided to share a family recipe from my own family growing up. I don't know if any of you are from European descent, but my grandparents, my father's parents, came from Poland and from Germany. And a recipe that my Oma used to always make was plum dumplings. So this is a recipe I'm going to share that is very similar, probably not exact, but I have made it in the past for my dad and my aunt, my uncle, and they really brought tears to their eyes trying it. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. So first step we're going to do is we are going to peel and boil 5 medium yellow potatoes. Now you can use russet potatoes as well, but don't use other varieties. We want a good mashing potato, not too starchy, something that's going to really mash well. And so while you're peeling your potato, get your pot of boiling water going so it's ready to put your potatoes in. So let's get started. Now you can use a peeler, but I tend to peel my potatoes just with a regular knife. I like the rounded ones myself. It hugs the potato really well. And yeah, it's funny because I remember my Oma, I don't think she ever really used a peeler. So you want your potatoes to be cut in half and then quartered. And we want them like that because then they're going to fit through the ricer really nice. Now, if you don't have a potato ricer, then you would slice it, cut it in half just like I did, and then just do slices because your potato will boil a lot faster and it just speeds up the process. Like, why not go quick? Chefs don't like to waste a lot of time if we don't have to, and I'm sure you don't either. So once you've got your potatoes in the pot boiling, it's a great idea to then set out all the other ingredients that you need. So, because this is going to take 25 minutes to do. And over here you can see I laid out our potato ricer. Again, if you don't have a potato ricer, perfectly fine, just get out a potato masher and that'll work great too. We will need some salt, 2.5 cups of just all-purpose flour, 2 large eggs, and we are using a jar of prune plum preserves, and this is from a local company, Country Flavor, right here in Ontario, using Ontario fruit, and they make a whole line of really beautiful preserves, peaches and pears, just like your grandparents used to make, I'm sure. Now you might be wondering why we're not using the actual fruit, why we're using the preserve. And we're using the preserve because my Oma, she preserved absolutely everything. There'd be jars of peaches, plums, pears, and cherries. And so in the winter, which is when she used to make this, she didn't use the fresh fruit like what you see in a lot of the recipes. She would use preserved, and of course they were her own. They weren't store-bought for sure. Oma would not have done that. But so when we decided to, or when I decided to recreate this recipe, I went to how it was served, how we had it growing up, and I hope you like this version. This is taken from the Spruce Eats website, and I adapted it so that it was a lot more to what we remember. And I had to do that because Oma never wrote anything down. So we're just going by memory, and sometimes, I don't know if you're the same, but when you taste something, it can bring you right back to sitting at that kitchen table years gone by. And so that's how we're trying to piece back all these recipes that my Oma used to make. I hope you'll enjoy this one. We're just gonna wait another 10 minutes, waiting on that timer for the potatoes to be ready. We will mash them, and then they will go right in the fridge to cool, because you cannot continue to make the dough until your potatoes have cooled down. Okay, so our timer has gone. We're going to drain the potatoes right into the sink. We are going to run some cold water over them just to cool them down a little bit more, because they are really hot. So just going to cool them down before we put them through the ricer. I'm not sure if you've ever used one. Not very many recipes anymore call for a ricer, so I mean, this is probably the only one I actually use it for too. You could use it for gnocchi as well, but you probably don't. Probably haven't. Anyways, let's get out our ricer. So this is a potato ricer. You can see it's got all kinds of little holes in there. That's where the potato is going to come out. So let's see here. I'm just going to get a spoon. And we've got our bowl. All right. So we're going to put a couple potatoes in there, maybe 3. So you can see they're in there. So here we go. I've just put some potatoes inside the ricer, and you just push down on the handle and you can see it just comes out just like that. So it really makes it fine and really nice to work with then. Now that our potatoes are nice and cool, we've taken them out of the fridge, we'll just add them to the stand mixer bowl of the KitchenAid, or you could do it just in any bowl in your kitchen as well. You don't have to use a stand mixer. It just makes it a bit easier. And we are going to add 2 eggs. Just going to crack them right into the bowl like that. Set that aside. Add 1 teaspoon of salt. Push that aside. And turn your mixer on low. And there you can see it's mixing, it's all incorporated. So now it's time to add the flour. And we'll just add that a little, we'll turn it off, lift it up, and add about, I don't know, at least half of it to start. You don't want to add it all at once because that would be probably a little too much. And just on your lowest setting. Otherwise you could use a hand mixer, or if you really want to get in there with a wooden spoon, you can do that too. Have to have a little bit of elbow grease going for that. Now we're going to turn it off and add the next bit. here we go. That's the last bit right now. You'll notice it's all incorporated now, so we'll turn it off. You don't want to over mix your dough or it will get tough. Lastly, you just take a piece of plastic wrap and form it right around your dough, and we're going to let it set for 30 minutes. Now that 30 minutes has gone by, we remove the plastic wrap from our dough and we flour our cutting board and we start working our dough. Be sure to use lots of flour on your rolling pin and on your work surface, otherwise the dough will stick. What I've got here is a ravioli press, but you can see you can just use any old circle to go like that. Move your dough off to the side and take your water and just brush over one of the circles. Take your quarter of a plum. So the plums came already in half. I cut them in quarter again just to make it easier to fit. And then you push around. You want to get rid of all the air that's inside and just push that down. And there you go. And what you can do is then also add a little extra flour on the bottom and then just add it to a prepared cutting or baking sheet that has some parchment on it because you don't want them to stick. So there you have it. 2 trays of fresh plum dumplings ready to go, and they are going to go. That's right, they are going to go. We are going to take them to my parents' place where my uncle is expected to arrive for a little Christmas get-together with his girlfriend. So we are going to share these. We will boil them when we get there and serve them with some melted butter, some sugar, and a little bit of cinnamon. And hopefully we will all enjoy. And I hope you enjoy as well. Please let me know what you think. And I hope you've had a lot of fun making some recipes this Christmas season and into January, into the dreary January. Some family recipes can always perk things up when the twinkling lights are gone and it's just dark and yucky. So anyways, enjoy.
Say it in Polish.
I have no idea.
Who cares?
Zig.
Cheers.
Prost. What would Opa say?
Merry Christmas.
Good
Happy New Year.
Guten New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
I don't think he ever said Guten New Year. This is the cherry herring people.
Guten neues Jahr.
Guten Neues Jahr.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Ziggy zaggy, oi, oi, oi.
Give me that look again, Mom. That was a great look. Let's see. This is the reaction. The family tradition.
Hey, I got I can drink anything.
Don't you put that on Facebook.
It's going on Facebook. Cheers.